we'll be talking you through the story of Macbeth.
Are we allowed to say that?
I think we're allowed to say it.
We're not in the theater.
We're not in a theater, and just in case... Excellent. So Macbeth is a general in King Duncan's army. This all takes place in Scotland. And where we start the play, we are at the tail end of a very nasty and very brutal war in which Macbeth and the Scottish forces have come out on top in a very decisive victory.
And so afterwards, he and his buddy Banquo are like walking it off, you know, having a Gatorade, and they run across 3 witches.
And as if that wasn't spooky enough, the 3 witches talk to them and deliver 3 prophecies unto Macbeth. First, we have, "Hey Macbeth, Thane of Glamis." He is already Thane of Glamis.
He's like, no problem, got that one, check.
Great. And then they say, "Hey Macbeth, Thane of Cawdor."
And he's like, huh? The Thane of Cawdor is already a guy and he's living.
Weird, but okay.
Go on.
And then they say, "Hey Macbeth, you will be king hereafter."
And Macbeth's like, whoa. Like, that would be cool, but here's the thing. We already have this great king. His name is Duncan. Everyone loves him. But now that you say that, I would love to be king.
But we don't even have time to ponder that, because our buddy Banquo says, "You delivered these prophecies unto my friend, but what do you have to say for me? I triple dog dare you."
Okay, Banquo, you ready for this? You're not gonna be king, but your sons will.
The end.
The end.
Take care.
And the witches disappear.
Leaving us to ponder a lot of things and think, was that even real? Have we eaten the insane root? What just happened?
Are we tripping?
But then, 2 more Scottish Thanes, Ross and Angus, come in and say, "Macbeth, we have some news for you."
Great news.
Turns out, the Thane of Cawdor was a traitor and is going to be executed, and you've won so much favor with King Duncan that you're going to be the Thane of Cawdor.
Woo! And also, we're partying at your place tonight.
And so Macbeth goes, "Okay, all of this is coming through. I have a lot to process. Let me go ahead so that I can warn my wife of our approach."
Yeah, so she can order like the pizzas and the Coke and the haggis.
All the essentials.
All the essentials.
Because we are in Scotland.
Of course. Cut to his wife, Lady Macbeth.
Who has, since Macbeth's been away in battles, receiving letters of correspondence. Nothing out of the usual. Just, oh, you know, ran into some witches today. Told me I was gonna be king.
And she's like, oh my god, that would literally be so incredible. I would love to be queen, you're gonna be king.
But there's a little problem.
What is that?
I don't know that my husband is gonna follow through.
He just doesn't have the guts.
So then, not to spoil anything, we summon some spooky, scary spirits.
Ooh.
So that we may follow through with this heinous, heinous deed that we are about to commit.
Then Macbeth bursts in the door and is like, my wife, I love you so much. We haven't seen each other. There's been a war.
What a tender reunion, only to be cut short by Lady M saying, "Hey,
what if?
What if we murdered the king when he stayed at our house tonight?" And then Macbeth says, "Ma'am, I haven't even taken off my shoes yet. Can we please circle back to this later?"
Yeah.
And she says, "Don't worry about it. I got it." So then the royal entourage, King Duncan, his sons Malcolm and Donalbain, and Thanes arrive at the castle.
Lady Macbeth is being a perfect host. Meanwhile, Macbeth is locking himself in the room and being angsty like a teenager on Thanksgiving.
Steadily spiraling as the implications of what he is about to do become more and more real, to the point where next time he and Lady Macbeth reconvene, he's gone from a soft no to a very hard no. There's no way I'm gonna do this.
No, Lady Macbeth tells him to screw his courage to the sticking.
And that's all he needs to hear. So he says, "You know what? I'm gonna do it.
He says,
I'm gonna do it."
I promise I'm a man.
And sure enough, he does it. And while all this is going down on a night where surely everything has fallen into place, Lady M is pacing, because she is not the one doing the deed, saying, "There's literally nothing that could have gone wrong. I laid out everything. I told him exactly what he needs to do.
Everything's fine. It's all gonna be fine. Everything's great."
But then we hit a hitch when Macduff shows up to the castle.
Macbeth then has to come downstairs after like totally freaking out.
"Hey, Macduff and Lennox. Everything everything is great.
Everything's great. And Macduff is like, oh, awesome. I'm actually going to go see the king because I promised him I'd be here. I just want to check in.
And Macbeth is like, yeah, go for it. Like, he's right around the corner. Like, just go say hi.
Yeah, it's great.
And then Lennox is like, hey, yeah, like, the earth was shaking last night.
And Macbeth goes, that's weird.
It just does that sometimes.
Yeah, it just does that. And then Macduff bursts in the room and he's like, guys. Murder! Everyone in this house, wake up. We have a true crime mystery to solve.
So while everyone is being amassed, that leaves Lady Macbeth and Macbeth, who obviously know what happened, having to be like, murder in our house.
It's more likely than you'd think.
The performance of a lifetime, I dare say.
Absolutely. So they are pretty effective in scrubbing all suspicion from them. And luckily for them, Macbeth is next in line to become king, so they go down to Scone, get coronated.
That leaves Banquo, who he's a smart lad, he's connected the dots to go, I have a sneaking suspicion that my best friend, who I thought I could love and trust, did some sketchy things to attain this crown and fulfill the witch's prophecy, because he's the only other person who has heard this prophecy at this point. And so then, he doesn't have time to reflect on this, because Lady Macbeth and Macbeth come over and are like, hey, Banquo, you're coming to our royal feast tonight, right? Like, it's sad, because King Duncan is dead. But, like, also, like, we're in charge now. And Banquo's like, wouldn't miss you for anything, Macbeth.
Yeah. I'm gonna be a little late, though, because I'm dropping my son off at home.
And then Macbeth is like, oh, your son is gonna be out with you, right?
Yeah, I really want to get him home so he's, like, protected. It's been kind of a wild time.
And then they're like, okay, see you later.
Bye.
But then it turns out that Macbeth has hired not one, but two murderers to dispatch of Banquo and his son Fleance on their way to the feast.
Now that's what I call overkill. And so this murder's going down. These murderers jump out of a ditch, surprising Banquo and Fleance.
Fleance escapes into the night.
He's a scrappy young lad.
But Banquo is no more.
And he's like, revenge me! My
Revenge
son!
me! Fly!
Oh my gosh, get out of here!
And then we flash forward!
Banquet.
It's a lively party. All of the important things are there. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth are the perfect host and hostess. Everything's going well, and then we get and it turns out it's the murderer saying, hey, Macbeth.
Hey.
So, it went really well. There's blood on my face, but, like, it's not mine. It's Banquo's. He's
Oh my
taken care
god,
of.
great news.
I do have something bad.
What?
The son escaped.
Oh no, now I'm anxious.
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay, you know, it's fine. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll get you your money, whatever. I gotta go back to this banquet. And hey, I thought you said Banquo was killed. Why is he sitting right there in my spot?
But wait, no one else sees Banquo sitting in Macbeth's spot.
Come on, you guys. This isn't a fun prank.
No one pulled a prank.
The guy's not funny anymore. He's really scaring me.
And no one else sees it. And Lady Macbeth says, no, Thanes, don't go anywhere. He just does this sometimes.
Don't worry about it. He's still fit to be king. Meanwhile, she's going over to Macbeth and she's like, get it together. What is going on?
And he simply will not get it together. She has to dismiss the Thanes because he is simply too wired to calm down. And he says, you know what? I know what I have to do. I'm gonna go see the Weird Sisters again tomorrow. So then we flash forward. We're back on the heath with the witches. They're making a spooky, scary brew.
Double toil and trouble.
Lots of both scary and problematic ingredients.
What? This was written in the 17th century?
But so then Macbeth interrupts their little potion making sesh and says, I need more information.
And they're like, okay, like, we're doing this potion thing, but like, you're king, great job. We see that part was accomplished. And just remember that you can be murdered, but only when the Burnham Wood comes to Dunsinane.
And not by anyone who was born of woman.
Right. So Macbeth is like, oh, great. Trees don't walk.
But also, beware Macduff.
Wait, why would I have to be afraid of Macduff? Okay, anyway, can you give me more information?
No.
More?
No.
Please.
Fine. fine.
more.
They say, we'll give you more information, but you're not gonna like it. And they show a procession of 8 kings to come in the future, none of whom are from the line of Macbeth, all of whom are from the line of Banquo and Fleance. To which Macbeth says, oh, I didn't want to see that, and is very distressed. So then the witches vanish yet again. They've done what they needed to do. Lennox, one of our Thanes, comes back in and says, hey, I have some bad news. Macduff has fled to England and is now working with Malcolm, Duncan's son, against you.
And Mackers goes, it's a really good thing that I've been paying this servant to live in Macduff's house, because now I'm just gonna kill Macduff's entire family.
And that he does.
Meanwhile,
In England,
we
we have a little reunion, a little festivities between Malcolm and Macduff as they're gathering and planning what to do next against Macbeth.
and Macduff is like, Malcolm, please, you gotta come back. Like, you're the rightful king, and Macbeth's really being a tyrant up there.
And Malcolm says, I mean, I can, but just so you know, I literally have so much lust. Your women will not be enough for me.
And Macduff is like, okay, weird.
Weird, but okay.
Fine. And then our good buddy Ross comes in.
And says, hey Macduff, your wife and children are totally fine.
Cool.
And your household, nothing's amiss there. All is great.
You promise? How's Scotland?
Oh, it's same as last you saw it. Macbeth is still causing trouble.
Dang. Anyway, Malcolm, you heard how much trouble Macbeth is causing. Will you come back now? Yes, Ross?
I gotta tell you something you might not like.
Oh, go on.
Macbeth killed your household wife and all of your children.
Like 30 seconds ago, you told me they were all fine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm sorry. But that's all Macduff needs to go full rage and finally commit to the battle against Macbeth. And so the troops in England are mustered. We're heading to Scotland for the final showdown.
It's time to fight.
But meanwhile at Dunsinane,
there's this gentlewoman.
Lady Macbeth's closest confidant, her bestie,
And this doctor.
and they're patiently waiting for Lady Macbeth to start sleepwalking, which apparently she has done for the past several nights.
But the gentlewoman's like, yo, check this out. And Lady Macbeth comes walking in and she's like really rubbing her hands and she's seeing like blood on her hands and she's like, I can't get it out.
She's saying the Thane of Fife, Macduff, had a wife.
Where is she now? And the doctor says, all right, well, this all seems very concerning, but you know, put an ice pack on it. Bye.
Above my pay grade.
Yeah.
So then Macbeth comes in and is like, please God, do not tell me anything else about this. I am fed up. And then, perhaps, she dies.
She dies.
She dies.
Somehow.
And sure enough, true to form, Macbeth does not care.
He's just so fed up with the world at this point.
He says
right?
she couldn't have waited until tomorrow.
And tomorrow.
And tomorrow.
There's this messenger that comes in, right? And he's like, Macbeth, this is gonna sound absolutely crazy, but on my way here, I saw the Burnham Wood moving towards Dunsinane.
And Macbeth says, there's no way. And it turns out, all of the troops, wooden sticks and branches in hand, are indeed moving towards Dunsinane against Macbeth.
They're using it as like camouflage.
Mm-hmm. And so it's time for the final battle. Macbeth puts on his armor. He goes out. It begins. He's tearing down everyone in his path because who can stop him?
He's Macbeth!
Duh! But then we hit Macduff. And Macbeth says, I'd like to see you try. I'm already charged with the blood of your whole household and your wife and your children. And also, no one of woman born can kill me. And then Macduff says,
Good thing I was a C-section baby.
Shakespeare was many things, a biologist was not one of them.
Unfortunately.
But anyway, that's all Macbeth needs to go. I may be in a bit of a predicament here, but I'm gonna go down fighting.
And so they fight, it's the battle of the century, Avengers Endgame has nothing on it, but Macduff does end up winning and beheads Macbeth.
Head on a post for all to see, an example of a tyrant that one should not be. It was not supposed to rhyme.
But it was beautiful.
I was trying really hard to make it not rhyme, and there was just no other way it would come out. And then Malcolm is now the rightful king, And so the play ends with all of them going, let's go to Scoon to see a rightful king crowned.
Scoon, 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 Scoon!
And what's the message of the play?
Don't be a tyrant, and get good sleep.
That's all from us, folks. That's Macbeth.
Goodbye.